Hello and welcome everyone, and today I am so excited because the trailer for The Challenge Season 41 has premiered. It has dropped on MTV, the social medias account, as well as YouTube. I have watched this thing about 26 to 40 times, going over the voiceovers, going over the narration, looking at every single frame, trying to get as much information as possible. Now, I will say that I have my work cut out for me because the challenge has taken extra precautions trying to blur out names and faces, so I really had to put my thinking cap on. I will have my own thoughts and theories as we go throughout this trailer, and we have quite a bit to break down and talk about, so let's not waste any time as we jump in to the first scene as we see the MTV logo looking very hot, a bunch of boxes with a giant orange circle, and there is a van that is being towed by a wire on a different car. We see this in the next instance as we see the challenge logo in the distance, as we see a van being tugged by a truck, and it looks like the van is going to tip over right away. As I don't know what this daily challenge will look like, it looks like there's going to be one person in the van, and maybe they're trying to navigate and try to steer the van around the boxes, or maybe hit into the boxes as much as possible as it is being towed by the other truck ahead of them. As we can see that this truck is going to hit directly bullseye into these boxes. I was trying to figure out who this person was. I think this is a male contender, as the eyebrows seem to be very thick and very dark. So my guess is either CT or maybe Turbo is sitting in this van as it hits into these boxes, and we can see all the sand hitting into the truck. There's the box leaning on the steering wheel, and here is the instance of the van falling on its side, and it's just gonna drag on the road. I don't know how long people are going to be able to stay upright on these tires. Again, it makes me question, what is this challenge going to look like? As we can see, fully on the ground, one of the boxes that was lodged inside the van after it got hit is now on its side, and the box falls out from where the windshield would have been. Here we have the logo. Of course, the challenge, Vets and New Threats. Wednesday, July 30th is episode 1's premiere, but from Entertainment Weekly, as well as the Variety articles going over the cast reveal, there will be an episode 0 happening on the Wednesday 1 week prior. So July 23rd is going to be day 0, episode 0, and then the premiere will be July 30th. What's very interesting about this trailer is that the music playing at the beginning / throughout the entire trailer is anything you can do, I can do better. TJ at this point says these vets wrote the playbook and they all had to earn their stripes. We get a view of the different veterans that will be on this season. We have Johnny Bananas as the first person that we see, and he is in the middle of the arena of the elimination. So we know that Johnny Bananas will be in an elimination at some point on the season. Cara Maria is doing a daily challenge, and she is what I have deemed the pillar challenge, I would think, because there are multiple different challenges shown throughout this trailer, but there are some where it's like, okay, there's the mud pit one. Then there's one where everybody is standing in front of a pillar with stairs going up it, so possibly there is a puzzle and the players are going to have to work together, run out to a field or something, grab some puzzle pieces, bring them back to the top of their pillar, and then put the puzzle together. As we can see, there's something up at the very top of this thing, but here's Cara Maria, and for this daily challenge, we can see that there is a vet paired up with a rookie. Cara Maria and Gabe are paired up on this challenge, and we'll see that there are different people paired up at different points in different daily challenges, making me think, do the pairs switch up every single week? Kind of like the algorithm in USA Season 1, in the Challenge USA Season 1, or is this more of a double agents type of vibe? We have Leroy coming back. He's not featured too much in this trailer, I will say, but it looks like he gets to a point where He's wearing a life vest and will be having to do a swimming challenge at some point. We have Olivia, who also, like Bananas, is down in the elimination / arena floor. Anissa is also doing a swimming challenge. Luckily, she brought her goggles. She wasn't the one that had a goggles problem in All Stars Rivals. That was Ashley, who also is not featured very much in this trailer, I will say. CT, featured a ton. We're going to be hearing multiple confessionals from CT. We're going to see him in different daily challenges, as well as him kind of spurring on an argument with Turbo. This is my first big theory in this trailer breakdown. And again, Challenge did a fantastic job. Blurring out faces, blurring out names. They're trying to make this as covert as possible. They don't want to give away any spoilers. But I feel there's a reason why. It's not just because this is going to be a pole wrestle. I feel like there's a reason why they wanted to show this elimination specifically. The uniforms are dark blue, where on the cast reveal, it looks like all the vets are going to be in dark blue, where all the rookies are going to be in gray. Both are clearly men. So now it's like we have an 8-player roll of the dice of who could possibly be these two players. And in my opinion, looking at the builds of both of these players, I have to think that this could possibly be CT versus Theo. Now, not too much can be seen in this view, but then there will be an overhead view via a drone. And I have to say that looking at the builds of the players who are involved in this pole wrestle, I truly believe that this is CT versus Theo, which would be incredible. Anything they can do. Here we have TJ finishing up that these vets wrote the playbook and they all had to earn their stripes. Here he finishes it up saying, and now new threats will enter the game, hungry to forge a new legacy. Here we have Gabe, and he is in the arena floor, and this is where we have a split screen of everybody here. I wrote everybody's name down because I'm still learning some of these rookies' names. We have Izzy on the far left, then we have Blue, in the middle is Gabe, Will, and Cedric. Then we have more players populating the screen. We have Adrian, Justin, Tay, Leonardo, and Jeremy. We have even more players with D, Ben Davis, Leonardo again, which I thought was very interesting, Lekka, and America. Where then it pulls out and Leonardo is kind of flexing for the cameras, showing off his muscles, you know, he's from Love Island. And you know, everybody who gets featured on Love Island looks good just in general. They're all Adonises and Greek goddesses, you know? I think the person right behind him, possibly being partnered up in this specific daily challenge, looks like the Pillar Challenge. I think he's partnered up with Anissa, it looks like. Can these new threats do better? We have Rogan now coming into the scene saying they came from Survivor, they came from Big Brother, they know what they're doing, as we see Sydney climbing up a very tall structure. She came from Survivor. Then we have what I believe is Will pulling on a very big chain. We're going to see this also from a different angle pulled out of the zoom with, I think, Adrian. Cedric is doing a swimming challenge. Here's Adrian doing the pulling off the chains. This looks like this could be the first portion, the setup portion to the truck pulling the van that we saw at the very beginning of the trailer, that possibly there will be players partnered up with each other. The one partner has to be on the outside of the truck pulling off all of the chains, like it's a not so fast kind of vibe, pulling off all the chains. Then once they're done, they can jump off and then their partner will take it from there, who is sitting in the van, and they're going to have to navigate trying to just destroy all the boxes or maybe navigate around the boxes. That doesn't make any sense. They would just stay in a line. So they're probably going to have to try to swerve to try to break down as many boxes on their way to the truck dragging the van. So that's pretty interesting. That could be very, very interesting. Here's Blue, and it looks like she's also in an elimination, and possibly maybe she won. And that's why she is doing the bow, trying to be like, yeah, I did that. Thank you, thank you, thank you, as everybody is clapping. TJ says, legend and rookie working side by side together. Now, is that going to help you, or are you going to get burned? So here we have the pillar challenge with CT, who is paired up with America. And like I mentioned, there's a pillar with their names on it, kind of like what we saw with Cara Maria and Gabe. And there's a big old staircase leading up to their, what I think is a puzzle board up at the top of their thing. So this is what I'm calling the pillar challenge, but we have CT paired up with America. This, I believe, is the mud pit challenge. And I call it the mud pit challenge because we'll see a zoomed out portion of the entire field. But when we see the zoomed out portion of a giant mud pit with a whole bunch of balls in it, it reminds me of season 37's episode 9 Bombshell Battle. That is the one where Corey and Josh get into an argument and Corey tells Josh that we're not down there playing patty cake. This looks like a variance of that challenge because it looks exactly the same, except for it looks like the pairs are going to be tethered together. It looks like from their waist that Jake and Cara Maria here are kind of like connected at the hip and they have to move with each other. It's not like one team member is going to be up at the top and the other team member is going to be searching for the ball at the bottom. It is going to be, they're going to have to work in unison to get down into the mud pit and also back up from the mud pit. Here, I believe that this is America doing the mud pit challenge, and she is tethered with somebody. I have no idea what veteran man this is. Is the mud pit challenge. It looks like the mud pit challenge, and Bananas is paired up with D. In the background, we have Anissa paired up with, I think, Leonardo. And very much in the background there, I can see somebody with their hair tied in like a giant ponytail slash braid, and then another person. I think that is a veteran man paired up with a rookie woman in the background. But we have Bananas and D paired up, and it looks like Bananas and D actually maybe pull off this win because they look exhausted. They're the only team sitting down, and they have balls in their cage, and Bananas like crashes helmets with D. It makes me think that they got the win in their round or something, or they made it through their round, and they look happy. This is where TJ says the legend and rookie working side by side together. Now, is that going to help you, or are you going to get burned? Here we have a daily challenge where it seems like Ashley and Cedric are paired up with one another in their light green on their helmet, and they're having a good time. It looks like they possibly have won. They're jumping for joy, so congratulations to them. It looks like Theo is in the background running out to go out and get some more stuff. Look what we have here. It looks like the Oppenheimer is back, and it is better than ever. No more like fence chains to make a circular. Now we have full walls. It reminds me of the Hall Brawl in season 33 where it was Kyle versus Theo. Actually, it looks like we have a possible rookie and veteran playing against each other. And what looks different in this Oppenheimer is that, to me, it looks like the person here, in the light blue outfit, is holding a ball. So I wonder if they added a ball element, elevating this Oppenheimer to where, yeah, you're going to have to get past each other, but whoever has the ball, you're going to have to try to take the ball away from them and then run it back to the other side and try to get it back to where this other guy doesn't want it to be. They're doing a lot with these ruins or these different markings. I don't know what they're supposed to be symbolizing, but it gives a very interesting aesthetic. It looks like in the very middle, it just says him, which, you know, are they going to be sponsored by that new movie, Him? Maybe that's what this is. The elimination is called Him. I'm Him kind of stuff. But it looks like in this one, maybe they're going to use it multiple times because we see one rookie and we have a very kind of lighter blue shirt on. But in this particular scene, we have a dark blue and a gray shirt. So we have what seems to be a rookie and a veteran going after one another in this Oppenheimer challenge. Honestly, I got goosebumps here seeing Lekka and CT paired up with one another. Speaking of CT, at one point, he says, "Once we train them, it's going to be hard to contain them." Here is the pillar challenge again. As we can see, we have Olivia and Will. Now, I do want to mention that Olivia's hairstyle is that she has this like long ponytail, this long braid. It doesn't mean anything because anybody can have that hairstyle in any different competition, but if Olivia is going to use that hairstyle in every single competition, whether it is daily challenge or elimination, it can help us out in different scenes and everything. So I'm just going to point that out because there will be another scene of somebody in elimination with that hairstyle, and I'm going to be like, oh, I think that's Olivia in that elimination, even though her face is blurred. Jake, who we saw would be paired up with Cara Maria in the Mud Pit Challenge, is here paired up with Aviv on the white team as they have the white stripe on their helmet. Aviv, not shown that much in the trailer, but I will say that it's only 90 seconds. Not a ton of people would be shown in this trailer, so I don't think it's cause for concern just yet. So here we have Cedric and Michaela paired up on a challenge with one another. It looks like they're trying to decipher a code, count something. They have a board with their own names on it. I don't think that this is a nighttime challenge. I think that this is during the day. They just have to work together to like run through a cave with one another. Now, I have been pointing out people who are not in the trailers very often, but on the opposite end, Cedric is all over the trailer, all over it. So I'd look out for Cedric to have a pretty decent run and a pretty decent season. Now we are in the middle of an elimination. It looks like the person farthest away on the left-hand side, she is in a gray uniform, making me feel like that is a rookie. And they're going up against what I think is a veteran, dark blue. I don't know who this possible rookie is. Maybe it's Lekka. The woman here has a braid, a long ponytail, and I feel like maybe this is Olivia. Maybe it's Olivia versus Lekka. So here we go. We have 4 players here. They're wearing life vests. So this will be the swimming challenge. And it looks like there are 4 rookies. As we can see, Justin, Leonardo, I think the eyeball of the woman that is looking directly at the camera, I think that's America. And I can't tell who the person is that is being hugged, who is on the orange team in front of us, but they look to be in a strong, possibly strong alliance. If the veterans and the rookies are gonna have to work together on every single challenge, and it looks like Justin's on the orange team, and the person being hugged right in front of us with their back to us is also on the orange team, I don't know, maybe it's Aviv? D is coming down rocks, and she is in normal clothing. We will see America also be doing something like climbing up a hill in her like casual outfit, not in a challenge outfit. I have a feeling that this is going to be kind of reminiscent to season 33's beginning challenge, where remember in season 33 Impending Doom in episode 1 where they had all of the women going down the sand dune to try to get a ball and then grab all the puzzle pieces and put the puzzle together, or you could possibly be purged out of the game. I don't think there's going to be a purge, but I have a feeling like everybody is going to meet up with TJ in their nice outfits and everything. TJ is going to say, well, I'm happy that everybody's here, but is everybody ready for their first challenge? And everybody's going to be like, what, right now? Right here? Right now? And TJ is like, yeah. And I feel like he's going to catch the rookies off guard and say, let's play, let's play. We didn't give you a uniform. You're just going to have to compete in whatever you're wearing and let's go. And so we're going to see D doing this and we're going to see America doing this. This is her like right before having a confessional. As we can see, she is like hanging out with Johnny Bananas, kind of flirting it up and everything. And we have who I believe is Jeremy. I did extra work as I don't know majority of these rookies. I went and started like looking up YouTube clips of who was speaking, how did they speak, what is their cadence, their voices, trying to get familiar with them all so that when this trailer dropped, I could try to pinpoint. And I do think that Jeremy, or the man's voice, first of all, the man's voice sounds like Kyland. I had to double take. I was like, Kyland's not on here, right? Like this sounds like Kyland. But I think it's Jeremy, because I looked into some of his clips from The Amazing Race, and I think it's Jeremy saying, "How did you win Survivor?" It's definitely a rookie man's voice. And she says, "Manipulating people, the same as I'm going to do here." TJ says, "It is a dawn of a new era." It looks like we're next to a swimming challenge. All right, here we go. We have a challenge where it is a big rig, and it looks like there's two sides to a puzzle. Players are going to have to get a puzzle right. They're going to have to dive in. Maybe they have to like connect something, and they have these nets have to like scale to get up to their platforms if they fall off. There's the orange helmet. Maybe this is Justin, as we saw that earlier in the 4-person like hug fest. Here is Izzy doing a jump split into the water. Very, very impressive in my opinion. We have an elimination, and now I'm thinking that this is the elimination where Blue is bowing at everybody because, and I'm saying this because one, that's definitely Blue's hair. You know, Blue is the woman on the right-hand side. I don't know who this other person is. Her face is being obstructed by Blue, and I think that maybe Blue wins this elimination. Cedric, beautiful eyes, you know? This, I think, is the van, but the very next scene we're gonna see is what looks to be a go-kart challenge, which I love the go-kart challenge. I hope this is a very fun go-kart challenge. Mario Kart just came out, so I think that this is gonna be a fun one. It's not the same as Cedric, who is here with a full like car seat behind him, putting the visor down on the helmet. I think that he is in the van, whereas here we have the go-kart scene, and this looks incredible. I hope they do really well with this one. We have a dune buggy, harkening back to the World Championship, and somebody crashes it by falling onto the ground, like Emily did, like Tori Deal did, is actually what Cedric is doing when he puts the visor down. We see his blue eyes pierce through the screen and look into our soul, as I think maybe this is the challenge that he is doing. Here we have Leonardo watching an elimination. Jake is standing to his left, and there is a confessional where I believe it is Leonardo from what I've listened to on his YouTube videos. "I absolutely want to slaughter all the vets." And here is the drone above head shot. And you can't tell me from this angle that that is not CT. That looks like CT. To me, that looks like Theo. Come on now. That has to be Theo and CT. Look at that. They even get closer and there's no way. You can't tell me that's not CT and Theo. And here we have everybody who I think is watching this pole wrestle. These two titans in a pole wrestle. And we have Derrick. We have Cara. We have Anissa, Leonardo, and Jake in the background. Anissa and Cara look surprised. And we have somebody in the confessional, a woman, who, from what she says, I thought she was a veteran, but it sounds more like Sydney, who is a rookie from Survivor, who says, "This really truly is the most even matchup that I've seen in a long time." I'll be honest, I know how all the veteran women sound. And to me, the closest it could be would be Cara Maria, but they would have had to done some voice modulation to her voice to where it doesn't sound exactly like her, but it's Cara Maria. Why wouldn't you like keep her voice in it? I was like, is Amanda on here? Because it sounds exactly like her voice. I think that the closest it sounds to on this cast right now, taking out voice modulation and everything, would be Sydney. Here we have another elimination, and I believe, I'll be honest, I believe that this is going to be Gabe versus Johnny Bananas. From what we saw earlier with Johnny at the very beginning, it looks like he is standing in front of this like bamboo wall. You're trying to hold your opponent from going far or completing their task for as long as possible. This is going to suck for the person who has to hold first. I also think that Gabe, the way he is standing when we saw him earlier in the trailer, this is him doing battle against Johnny Bananas. We'll also see in this section right here, I believe that this is Johnny Bananas. 100%. This is Johnny Bananas. I was going to say that if this is truly Gabe versus Johnny Bananas and the players up here are reacting to whoever is winning, Nany would not be jumping up and down if Johnny Bananas was being eliminated. The same thing with D. We saw D and Johnny getting close in the trailer. I would have to think that D and Nany are excited because Johnny Bananas is winning. And here we have more players getting excited. We have Derrick, Lekka, D, Ben Davis, Anissa, Ashley, Nany. If Nany is jumping up and down this much, I would think that it would have something to do with Johnny doing well or Leroy doing well. We have not seen Leroy very much, but we know that Johnny is in elimination, so maybe Johnny goes in against Gabe and wins. It's the most. Here we have a very interesting climbing challenge. This is a water challenge, or heights over water. And it's interesting because it looks like there are going to be multiple teams trying to climb this tower that is being hung up by a giant crane, and it's hanging over the water, and you're going to have to try to climb up the tower to get up to the top and then jump inside, and maybe it's slowly lowering into the water, and we can see that somebody is going to drop as they're climbing, and they're going to try to throw something at one of the other competitors, trying to get them eliminated. It's the most one-upping. Cara Maria and Jake sliding down into a mud pit. Backstabbing. Will is getting emotional as Justin is trying to console him. Jaw-dropping. This looks like to be at the top of an elimination arena. We can see that Blue is here, CT, Tay, Adrian. They're all looking like they're in street clothes, so they won. They didn't have to worry about going into an elimination season ever. So it's the most one-upping, backstabbing, jaw-dropping season ever. CT is in the house. This is one of the bigger scenes of the trailer where we have Turbo, who is looking incredibly tan, by the way. Turbo is coming off from a vacation after All-Stars Rivals. He may have gone to have a vacation, got some nice spray tan, got a nice tan outside. Turbo saying, to some people, it's a dream to be here. We have Turbo and CT disagreeing, to say it lightly. And now Theo just doesn't want anything to do with it. He's like, okay, I don't want to be in the middle of this. And so Turbo's saying, to some people, it's a dream to be here. And CT weirdly says, I'll every time I freaking want. I feel like the context is that Turbo and Theo were having a conversation in the kitchen with one another, and CT came in. Turbo was he's probably saying, like, can you not, like, just barge in and come into the kitchen whenever you want to and everything? And that's when CT's like, I'll come into the kitchen whenever I want to. And we have Leonardo smiling for the camera, playing it up for the camera while in the gym. This gym looks really good. I hope we get a house tour video. I love doing the house tour videos. To me, I think that this is going to be one of the first daily challenges. As we can see, we have some people with the same colored helmets. So we have people in pairs. It's hard to see where everybody is or who everybody's teammate is, but it looks like everybody is here. This looks to be everybody's. We have Derrick and America paired up with one another, and I'm just now realizing it. If we look at Derrick's right hand, he is injured. What happened to Derrick? What is going on with Derrick that he is getting injured every single season? This is clearly Jake, and I want to think that possibly he's paired up with Nany, and this is they're at a decoding station, a board. We have Naya and America kind of like doing a high five. Maybe they're doing a vet rookie alliance of some sort. Very interesting. Maybe America is going to be a part of the Lady of Leisures with Olivia. Maybe because Michelle's not there, America gets to like get into the fold with Naya and Olivia. Speaking of America, America is here partnered up with Turbo. And speaking of America, at one point she says, I'm going to try to learn as much from the vets as possible so I can turn around and use it against them. Turbo and kind of standing next to a cargo container. They're like waiting, and then all of a sudden it looks like Turbo like touches that they're gonna have to sprint off, and it looks like it could be a maze of some sort. So maybe those decoding stations, you're trying to figure out your pathing through everything. Because it looked like Minesweeper, so maybe the red spots are all the cargo containers, and you can flip over certain spots, and maybe you're running throughout the different cargo containers, trying to get out as soon as possible. If that's the challenge, that's awesome. Here is America, dressed up in her casual clothing. She's not in a challenge uniform. So I believe that this is them maybe hiking their way, getting up to a section, and then like we saw D kind of going down, they're going to have to climb and go down. And this will be like episode 1's impending doom. No uniforms, no introduction to welcome to the challenge. You're just going to have to get up and get your hands dirty right away. And yeah, this is where America says, I'm going to try to learn as much from the vets as possible so I can turn around and use it against them. There's a point where something very surprising happens, where America is surprised. Leroy in the background also is surprised. Nany and Anissa get into an argument. I don't know, Nany's single, everybody, Hurricane Nany's coming out. Sydney is looking very, very sad, and then I think Will is getting frustrated. We have a bus scene. We don't get bus scenes anymore, and maybe, if anything, this could be one of those like deleted scenes that we'll get on the YouTube, like TikTok or YouTube Shorts or something, but either way, at least we got a bus scene to start off the season and everything, because we didn't get a ton of bus scenes and everything. Here we're back to the climbing wall challenge, which kind of reminded me, Sydney, we saw her climbing a big apparatus earlier in the season. So I have a feeling that Sydney is doing this challenge at some point. I believe that this is Jeremy, because when I looked at the helmet, it is blurred out, but it looked like a V. But there is no V men, and I believe that this is a rookie. So I think that this is Jeremy who gets to the top and is going to jump in. As we can see, it looks really crazy to jump into this thing. I don't know what they're doing, but it looks wild. And we see Derrick has made it climbing up to the top and then jumping in, but he looks to be sloshing around quite a bit. And we can hear at one point of him yelling, "Help, help." And upon him yelling help, I thought I could hear Olivia, Leroy, and Bananas all commenting on, yo, Derrick's calling out for help. What is that? Is he hurt? Like, he needs to help out. And we can see Cedric is here. I believe that's Will. CT is in the far back. Anissa is also here. Like I mentioned, Olivia, Bananas, and Leroy also. You can hear them in like the voiceovers and everything being like, yo, he's calling for help. Does somebody need to go out and save him? Look how deep that thing is. Here is the full picture of everything, and it just makes me confused with having Turbo on the orange station doing a puzzle, it looks like. So it looks like he's doing a puzzle while maybe his partner was trying to climb up the wall and then she falls off. But it's like, where'd the puzzle come from? What is this challenge? This challenge looks pretty interesting and pretty cool, but it's also just like, there feels to be so many compartments and so many things to do in this challenge. Why isn't Turbo climbing up? Did he climb up and get all the way down and jumped in and everything? Like, what is happening here? I'm so confused. I'm so excited. Now, this is a very interesting section, and this is why I was like, maybe it's going to be like season 33, where it's going to be turned into a solo game. I hope it's not a solo winner being chosen, but I don't know what to make of this. But it says, may the best, and it keeps flipping back and forth between vet, threat, vet, threat, vet, threat, vet, threat, and it goes back and forth. So it's like, okay, so anybody can win, it feels like. That just proves to me that possibly anybody could win. So that's why I think it's going to follow the same thing as season 37, where you'll have a veteran paired up with a rookie. They'll run the game. Maybe this one, they'll have a revolving door where they'll have an algorithm changing up the rookies and the vets every single time. Or it's going to be like double agents, that they're going to swap partners via people who are eliminated. But at a certain point, I think it will split up and it'll be a solo game where possibly there will be a solo winner of veteran. I don't know. I'm telling you, I don't know for 100%. I'm trying to make sense of why it kept on saying like, may the best vet threat. Vet. Maybe it's saying that one vet and one threat. Well, who knows? You know, who knows at that point? But with it going back and forth between the two instead of it being saying which vet and, so to me, because it doesn't say both on, I think it could be just a solo winner, and it's just trying to say like, hey, anybody could win. Here is the mud pit ball challenge. As I was saying earlier, TJ is looking down, and like I said, here's a huge mud pit. Everybody's going around. Cara and Jake were paired up with one another. It looks like D and Bananas will be paired up here. Leonardo and Anissa will also be paired up. Possibly 11 cages, even more, for the stations to have for balls to be put in. So if it is 11 to 12 to 13, I mean, 2 people per pair, I mean, that's going to be 20 something. There are 32 players total, so that'd be 16. So that's pretty early on. That's like one of the first 5 challenges. So I will assume that this is one of the first 5 challenges, which I guess is not saying very much. CT is here saying, you can't try to control the challenge. You have to try to survive it. Here is the other side of the one section of everybody running towards me where I was like, oh, this could be the first challenge or one of the first challenges. It looks like Justin is here, and he's going to be light blue. There's an orange team. Could be possibly Aviv, maybe. Can't really make out anybody else, but I just think a lot of people are going to be here. Justin and Anissa are embracing, having a hug, and looking ecstatic and happy after the pillar challenge. Makes me believe Justin and Anissa do really well, or possibly win in the pillar challenge or whatever this challenge is. Here we have Adrian, looks to be in the back of an ambulance, looking very sad. Will there be a medical disqualification? And here's TJ at the mud pit challenge saying, throw out everything you know about the challenge. I have 40 plus seasons of knowledge up here. I'm not getting rid of it now. Here's Justin in the elimination arena looking ecstatic. He most likely won an elimination. He's just letting out so much fun and excitement. Here we're back at the van challenge, and this van is down and for the count. It looks like this van is completely on its roof. Here we have players having to jump a small gap, or not a small gap, it's a pretty big gap. And as we can see, we have Michaela and Theo watching. Theo is on the red team this week. Michaela is on the blue team. And we have somebody jumping the gap. I feel like they're going to have to do some form of a doom buggy course, and they're going to have to finish off, and their time will be stopped when they jump over this gap. This is where we saw somebody like turn the whole thing over and it falls on its side. Here we have some of the house shenanigans. Everybody's having a good time. We got somebody with pink hair. We got Derrick. We have Jeremy. We have Justin. We have Leroy in the background. Everybody's just having a nice pool day. This stuff in the trailer makes me excited, makes me feel good. Johnny's playing his guitar. He's the guitar guy at the party. He's been this way since season 38, so we just, come on now. This is going to be early on in the season. We can see Izzy, Taylor, Adrian, D, Derrick, Aviv. It's just everybody. Everybody's here. Majority of everybody is here. And then we have Justin having his mind, I think something happens with the rules, or somebody wins a challenge that everybody was kind of like looking to throw in, and now that game has possibly been turned upside down, he just goes, The Challenge, Vets and New Threats, Season 41, Wednesday, July 30th, 8 p.m., new season on MTV, and we can see Leonardo, Blue, Izzy, Jake, D, and Justin standing on top of a platform that is being held up by Leroy, Cara, Johnny, CT, and Olivia? Okay. That's not it. Sometimes when we see the logo and everything, it's over, it's done. No, we get an extra little sneak peek afterwards where TJ says, the one thing that I hate worse than quitters are cheaters. Everybody is standing by their partner. So I don't know who Derrick's partner is because they're off screen, but we have CT and America, which they were paired up for the pillar challenge, Derrick and Blue look to be paired up. Turbo and Lekka are paired up. Great duo. Nany and Ben Davis paired up. Gabe and Cara Maria, who at the very beginning of this trailer were paired up for the pillar challenge. Michaela and Leonardo look to be paired up. And so on and so forth. This is from one of the first 2 or 3 daily challenges, and I feel like this is the pillar challenge, so look out for that one to be in the very beginning of the season. But for somebody to cheat that early on is wild. Blue is surprised, so maybe whoever won cheated, and now they're going to get a whole new person in as the winning team. And then it says watch on MTV. As I've stated multiple times, July 23rd is episode 0, MTV, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Wednesday, July 23rd, episode 0. But if you do not care about the introductions and you just want to get in when the adventure happens and when the action starts, episode 1, the premiere, the official premiere, is July 30th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now I want to turn it over to you. What do you think about the breakdown of this trailer? What do you think about this trailer? Let me know in the comment section below. Did this trailer get you excited? I'll tell you right now. In my cast reveal, I was like, I don't know, I gotta wait for a trailer, and I'll be cautiously optimistic. I'll be honest, this trailer was awesome. And like I said, it got me excited because it reminds me so much of season 33. I think these rookies came in to compete. I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do. Like I mentioned, this trailer reminds me of season 33 so much in so many different ways. And to me, season 33 is a top 5 challenge season overall. I'm looking forward to seeing what the actual season looks like and how the gameplay goes. So I'm actually really excited now for this upcoming season, and I cannot wait for July 23rd and then July 30th. But now I will pause because I have talked quite a bit. Now I want to turn it over to you. What do you think about this trailer? Which part was your favorite? What do you think the format of the season is going to be? Who are you rooting for? Who are you rooting against? What is something that maybe I didn't touch enough on in a certain scene, or something that you noticed that maybe I didn't say in this trailer breakdown? Let me know down in the comment section below. I want to hear what you have to say. Please, no spoilers down in the comment section. But yeah, I want to hear anything and everything you have to say down in the comment section below. I love reading the comment sections, especially on these trailer breakdowns, and getting to hear everybody's thoughts and feelings and what you think about the trailer, or who's in the trailer and who's not enough in the trailer and everything. I'm just very excited about this trailer and this season in general. So please leave any and all comments down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. I also want to give a special shout out thank you to everyone who supports me over at patreon.com/angelcavevids. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you. And thank you to everyone who's watching this video up to this point. I'll be back really soon with more Challenge 41 content, more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.